All right, July 14th. It is 7:03. We are live now because hey, we got over the technical difficulties. It always happens when you are with a guest and trying to get everything organized, and it's always I don't know what it is. It happens like this, and for some reason, I don't know why, but hey, we're here now. Hi, Elvira. Good to see you.
Hey Joey, how are you?
Um,
Good to be
well,
here again.
I'm good now.
Yeah.
So some of my lights aren't working over here, and hopefully I've corrected all of the stuff on the eCams to get your name in there and everything else. So if we switch to some of the panels that don't have it with the other guest's name, then I apologize for that just up front. But you know what? I
No
want to get
worries.
into today's conversation right away because it's a big one, and we've had major discussions before about marketing and just everything about energetically being out there, your authentic self, and the mindset issues, or not mindset issues, but the how to change your mindset and approach things. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I know that you were in pharmaceutical, and were you in the marketing piece of that
I was in a sales, but sales and marketing worked hand in hand. So
in sales?
they
Okay,
asked, they actually said, like, are we really salespeople or are we really marketing people? Because when we would visit the doctors, it was more about telling them the benefits of our products as opposed to like, hey, can you give me the sale, right? But there was also the sale was intended when we were visiting and giving them the samples and taking them for
okay.
dinners and events. It's kind of like read between the lines, right? We need your support, kind of thing,
Right
right?
on. Right, right.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were okay, so that leads me to the discussion. So you weren't in the department that was actually positioning. I don't even know if there is positioning in the pharmaceutical. I guess there is in terms of how they
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
okay, so I want to talk about positioning because I find that it's one of the biggest things that many people miss. And a lot of people don't even know what it is. And so when people come to me for advice or they want to grow their business, it's always about marketing and how do I get more clients and how do I do marketing better. And there's tactics in marketing and there's all these other kind of things, but positioning comes first. And I know this because when I started my first business, it was maybe the third book or the second book. One of the first three books that I read was Positioning by Al Ries and Jack Trout. And
Mm.
way back. And that book positioned me. Like it was the one that took me from 0 to like 100 right away. And it's
Wow.
because yeah, and the whole thing is you can't create this position in someone's mind, a new position, but you can work with what's already there. And like that's the thing. And so when people are talking now about positioning, I'm not sure they really get what it is. And and it's hard to create a new position. It's almost impossible to create a new one, but you can kind of counter, attach yourself to something. Like you look at Coke and Pepsi, right? Like they
Mhm.
have positions. So you have a position in your mind. I don't know which one, but if I said, "What's your favorite soda?" What would you say?
Mine is Coke Zero. I've been going to that one
Okay.
lately.
So
Yeah.
it's Coke, but still it's Coke, right?
Yes. Yes.
So that's the position in your mind that the best soda for me is Coke. Whether it's right now it's 0, but back then there was only 2, right? Coke and Pepsi,
Yeah.
that was it. And
Yeah.
RC Cola or whatever else. And that's what I mean by positioning. Every one of us has this thing in our mind that when we think running shoe, what's our running shoe? What's the one that comes to mind? Right? What's
Nike.
Nike, right? So there you go.
Yeah.
That's positioning. And so
Right.
if you started a running shoe company, like how would you position against Nike? Because you can't take that top position, and that's what we're talking about. So, does the market? Like, here's the question I want to ask you: um, Does the market's mental map matter if the founder's self map is off? Does that
Mm.
make
Oh
sense?
yeah. Everything is off when the founder's map is off.
Okay, like get into that. Like, tell me what you think about that. Explain.
Yeah. So first, let's just speak from an energetics point of view. Like if the founder's map is off, like everything is off, right? And
Right.
and they could have, like the best people on the team and have like like an amazing skill set, and they might have a passion for it, but if their energetics are off, if they like, so I'm a little bit biased. Okay. I believe that our inner work determines our outer success, right? Do
I
you believe
agree.
that, Joey?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
100%.
So if the founder is off because they haven't done their inner work, because they don't know who they truly are, and why they're here, and they're able to consistently do their inner work, so they can have that capacity to show up in a way that attracts the business that they deserve and desire, right? We're all different. We all have a reason for being here on the planet, Joey. I'm sure you agree with that. And we need to consistently be, as Stephen Covey put it, sharpening the saw, so
Yeah.
that
Mhm.
we are showing up. And again, in my words, aligned, authentic, fully self expressed. And when we do that, we become this beacon, we become this lighthouse, so that we can attract all the business we're meant to have. So yeah, we have to spin a few plates. But as a founder, if we're off, like, the whole company is off, right? Would you
So
agree?
does that, yeah, I agree. And so the question really is about, if we're off, if our mindset is off, or our whole everything in the founder, this our self map, where we're going and all these things. So
Yeah.
does the mental map of the audience matter
The
to?
mental map of the audience. That's a great question. I've never heard it put that way. So, what do you mean when you say the mental map of the audience, Joey?
Yeah, it's when when the audience looks at you, they have this mental map of what you do, where you're positioned in their mind, all these things, right? So that's where marketing tactics come into play, and
Yeah.
not in a good way. And so
Yeah.
in a way where manipulation, persuasion, all these other kind of things are marketing tactics, and that's why I'm not really a big fan of marketing tactics per se.
No, no,
But
me
it's
neither.
like, well, how do I change that person's mind and all these things? So they have this mental map of what you're all about, the audience.
Right.
And so if you don't have your stuff together, then that's a conflict in my mind. That's
Yeah.
where I totally agree with you, that once you totally understand who you are, what you're all about, you're authentic yourself, and you're putting that out there, it's so much easier to market, because
Oh,
you're not hiding something. You're not hiding behind something. Like when you get,
no.
I don't know, like you hear about a company or a founder or something, and they go, "Oh, did you notice that they've been doing this? They've been this thing for 25 years, and all of a sudden now you know the truth." Like that's what I'm talking about. Like the
I
market had
see.
this mental map of who you are and who the
Got it.
company was, and all of a sudden something was exposed or something, and then you're like, "What? I really didn't think Joey was like that. What?"
Uh,
Right?
right. Right.
So that's what I mean. So does it
Yeah.
matter? Does the market's mental map matter if the founder's self map is off? And that's a
Yeah.
really difficult
Well,
question.
that's what happens if the founder's self map is off, and the founder doesn't know who they truly are, and what their, essentially what their transformation is. I'm talking about the coaching world here. Like, if the founder isn't super clear on who they are, why they're here, then the market is going to respond to that, and not favorably. And there's not going to be any business. It's going to be slogging. It's going to be
Yeah.
hustling. It's not going to be attracting. So the ideal is to be a founder who is so clear in their mission that they become a beacon, a lighthouse that just attracts all the right people. I've always seen you that way, Joey, by the
Thank
way.
you.
I see myself that way. I hope I'm that way
Yeah.
anyway. Is that you're really clear, heart-centered marketing, do different, the unfunnel. Like, you're really clear on your marketing and who you want to attract to you. And so, yeah, I don't know. Does that answer your question?
It does. And you said a big thing there that leads me into the next question, or the what I want to talk about, which is that positioning is not about reach, it's about recognition. So you were talking
Yes.
about clarity and
Yes.
knowing what your mission is and all that stuff. So if it's not about the reach, because again, this is where I see people get it wrong, where it's like, oh, let me position better so I can attract more clients, and it's not the reach, it's the recognition. So the question
Yeah.
is, can you word your way into recognition? Meaning that whatever you say, the right words. Like I've heard this a billion times. If I only had the right words, I can position
Mm,
better or my marketing message would be better. There's some truth to that, right? Some truth, but to what we're talking about here is not about, well, in order for me to position, all I need to do is write better copy, right? That's not true. Like
yeah.
the energy has to be right first, and then the words describe that energy later.
Yeah.
Do you think what do you
Yeah,
think?
absolutely. Absolutely. When we get into absolute alignment, Joey, as founders and know our true mission and, the purpose of our company, what we're doing, I believe that, the right people will find us.
Right.
We do get the right words. Like I don't speak, I channel, like the words just come through because I'm going to get a little woo woo, but I channel spirit, I basically, I don't even know what I'm saying right now, even, right? Like I'm just saying the words that I'm being guided to say. And, but I know that I work on my alignment every single day. So I know who I am. I put out a clarion call. I put out the light, right? I'm the lighthouse. I have lighthouse codes that attract the right people to me. So it's less about, being in the weeds down here, and it's more about being up here. Who are you truly? Why are you doing your business? Like, they say, if your why doesn't make you cry, find another why. So you need to be doing something that actually moves you emotionally, that you want to make the world a better place. And in my world, in my work, the miracle magnet method, we talk about your why. And what does why stand for in my method? WHY, the world helped or healed by you, right?
Mm,
So you've got to get super clear on your why so that the right people will be able to find you. And there's only one of you, Joey. There's only one of you on the planet. There's only one of me.
right.
And there are people that we are meant to serve. And unless we get super clear and put out the content that will allow them to find us, they're not going to be served by us, right? And there's people that need your message like they need oxygen, there's people that need me and my team like they need oxygen. And, we're doing them a disservice if we're not consistently doing our inner work to stay in alignment with our highest self. And then the words just come through because they're authentic. We're not, and mind you, we have to listen to the VOC, voice of the customer too, to speak in their words so that we can market to them in our content too. But I feel like we're pretty much our customer, like just, a little bit behind us, right? Like they just, need to make a few more steps, that at least in my work, the people that use my system, my modality are helping others in the way that they were able to be helped or help themselves. And now they're supposed to help others as well. So you're basically talking to yourself in the past, right? But I do have an amazing marketing strategist and copywriter. Shout out to John Yanish. And he does interview my clients. And we do get, like, what is it that you got working with Elvira? And we're hearing it in their words so
Yeah,
that we
that's
can
good.
turn
Yeah,
it
yeah,
into good copy, right? Does that
yeah,
make sense? I
yeah.
said a lot
And
there.
no, no, no. You said a lot. I mean, there's so much to unpack there because I want to bring it to, not to ignore what you just said. I just want to bring it to what this positioning thing is for this
Sure.
particular thing would be, can, and you don't have to answer this. I'm just, this is for you and for everybody listening too as well. Is, can a stranger repeat back what you do? Like that's what it is.
Ah,
Right? So,
yeah.
and so and that's what I mean by words, where the more and by doing, I mean, I'm addicted to what you're doing as well, where I every time I get a chance to look at customers' data or the transcripts and all that, I'm in. Like I'm doing this almost every single day. Now, especially with AI being able to go in and here's all of the stuff from the last 6 years, go find some patterns over here, and
That's
where
amazing.
could positioning be, positioning statements or something that I am missing. And so that's what I love about technology these days. It's not where
Yeah.
I don't want to get into an AI discussion, but I have this discussion all the time
But
where
you're
it's
damn good at it. So
well,
anyway,
I'll take it, but I mean, I'm just
yeah.
learning. I'm just applying the technology to something that I've been doing manually for many, many years, and something that I
Yeah.
could not ever do, which is find patterns within, you know, I don't know how many thousands of pieces of data that I've got. Now, back to the positioning, it's where. where do I stand out, or what has somebody said repeatedly that I overlook, and probably you too. Like, somebody has said something to you, or your clients are saying something that you may be overlooking, that because you're like, okay, because you're such a super genius about it, and you're like, whatever, and you just miss it. But if you go, I love the fact that you're a copywriter. What's his name? John, you said?
John Yanish, yeah.
Yeah. Is saying what did Elvira give you? Like, when you worked with her, what
Yeah.
happened, and what would you say about her? Like, that's one of the biggest questions I ask people to ask is, if you don't know how to describe what you do, go and say to your clients, okay, if someone asked you about me, what would you say? Not about me personally, but about what I did for you, what would you say? And that answer, whether it's one sentence or a couple of paragraphs, which I call the love
Yeah.
letter,
Yeah.
is that's it. Like, they're describing what you did for them better than we can ever
Right.
describe that. And then if you have those things captured, that's when you see what's the positioning there. What does everybody say about me,
Right.
right?
Right.
And so for
Yeah.
me, one of the things that I've discovered, which I want to change, is the fact that everybody thinks I'm the marketing clarity guy thingy. And I'm not a marketing
Oh.
guy. Like, I'm not
Oh.
I know marketing very, very well. It's all I've done for many, many years. But
Okay.
the positioning is that everybody goes, He's the marketing guy." And that's not what
Wow.
I do. Like, it's
Okay.
not. It's the positioning, so I have to change my positioning to say, "No, the marketing is on the top. What I help you identify, or help you do, is identify who you really are in order for your marketing to work." Does that make sense? So
Oh,
I
yeah.
there's another layer there that I have to start positioning better. Saying, I don't do marketing. I help you break
Okay.
through to find out what your identity is, your business identity, and not really
Yeah.
brand either, but like what you're all about in order for you to market better.
Right. Oh, I love that. Well, that's good to
Right.
know because honestly, I thought you were this marketing expert.
See?
You trademarked the unfunnel method, and
Yep.
I thought that was your expertise. So, yeah,
Well, it
my
is.
bad.
Marketing, no,
Yeah,
marketing
yeah,
is my expertise, but it's
yeah,
not, I don't do marketing for people. That's the
yeah,
thing. Like,
yeah.
he's the marketing guy. So, again, that's why I wanted to have
Yes,
this discussion, because do
yes.
people know what you do? If somebody said, "What does she do?" Can a stranger repeat back what you do in 5 seconds, like in one
Well,
sentence?
most people would say, she helps people become miracle magnets, right? Like
Okay,
that's
cool.
one of the terms, right? And yeah, miracle magnet seems to be the
Okay,
thing. And she's about, living aligned, authentic, fully self-expressed. I'm always saying that, like every day, till, the rest of my life, I'll be saying that. And
love it.
and it's all about, doing your inner work to become fully you so that you can rock your act too. I tend to work with 45 plus, individuals because they know that they only have so much more time to impact the world with their mission. And
Yeah.
I help them go really fast so that they can accomplish their mission before they die. So, yeah. And
Okay.
I think
I
most
love it.
people will get that, right? And if they follow me, a little bit, that I hope those messages come through. I mean, do you feel that way about me, Joey?
I do. Like, I know, like when I always mention like how much energy you have. Like, you're such a positive person. You've been through a lot of stuff, and every time you show up, you're always that person who brings the positive energy forth. And I've heard you all the time, not in a bad way, but you're always about the miracle magnet. So it's great, because that's your positioning. That's your moat, the
Yeah.
miracle magnet. Now, and I know that your audience knows what that means, but that's for anybody listening. If you have a miracle magnet or something like that, a branded name or whatever, do people understand what that is? Right. So
Yeah.
I even still, like, even though I have Unfunnel Method trademarked, I don't speak about it enough. Not many people know exactly what that means. So that's my bad. Like,
Right.
I need to go more and say, this is what it actually is. And again,
Yeah.
that's positioning. Right.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Anyway,
good.
let's
You've
move
got
on to
some
the,
work ahead of you, right? But
I do.
but at
I do.
least you're aware, and awareness is power in my
Yeah.
world, and you're a conscious coach. You're a conscious leader, and yeah, self-awareness is everything. And then, as soon as you go, oh, okay, I'm just gonna, shift my sales just a little bit, and hopefully, with that information, you can, just make a few little tweaks, and then bam, you're on to bigger and better things,
Yeah, you're
in my
positioned
humble
better.
opinion.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
you're just positioned better. So when
Yeah.
people start looking at you, they're looking at, "Oh, that's what he or she does." So let
Yeah.
me let me ask
Yeah.
you this.
Sure.
In my opinion, most entrepreneurs try to position by what they do. And that's why I just said, I don't do marketing. Did you see the words
Yeah.
that I use? Like, I don't do marketing. I know
Yeah.
marketing enough and I can help you with it, but I don't do marketing because it's
No, you do
backwards. If you
different.
position, yeah, I do different for sure. Um, but if you position by what you do, it's backwards because you need to lead with what you're building toward, not what you used to do. Like, what are you
Yeah.
building toward? What's the thing that's going to where do people end up when they work with you, right? So, how do you know? Here's the question. How do you know when your past experience is fueling your positioning versus quietly holding it back?
Mm.
Want me to ask the question again?
Say it again. Yeah, that's a powerful question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a big one. How do you know when
Yeah.
your past experience is fueling your positioning versus quietly holding it back?
Well, I think you're not going to be getting many sales because you're not aligned, because you're talking about the past, but you really want to move forward. I'm not
Well, okay,
sure.
let me
Yeah.
stop you there. I
Okay.
think from what I understand
Yeah.
about you,
I want to know what you think. Yes.
yeah, I believe that your past fuels your positioning because I've heard your story many times. I've heard that the trauma or the mean girls and all these things, and that is positioning you. When you tell those stories, it's because here's where I was, and here's why I'm doing this, and here's why I think this way, right? And here's what the miracle magnet is all about because of all that crap that I went through. Like that, if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. But that's what I
No,
mean
you're
by
right.
it's fueling the positioning rather than holding you back, which means I'm not going to talk about all that stuff. I'm going to hide it. I'm not going to do anything, right? So that's where a lot of people get stuck because they don't want to bring their past experiences
Okay.
to the message to what they're doing. And you and
Yeah.
we're like open books. You ask me a question about my
Right.
past, I'll tell you anything you want to know,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's fueling our position. Do you agree?
Got it. Got it. Yeah. Well, I'm on the same page, Joey. I'm an open book, and I will share as much as I'm able to share. Like, there's certain stories I don't tell on all platforms, but I
Yeah.
will tell, like, in a, like, I run a membership, and they get more stories than I put out on social media. Today, I told a whole bunch, not a whole bunch, a few new stories that, like, people were just like, wow, that's amazing. Right. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm not so sure I'm going to talk about that on social media because it would throw one of my family members under the bus, but I told it in a private little environment. So I believe our stories are what help people to heal and to grow. And we've got to be super honest about them. We can't hide and pretend that, yeah, this is who I am now and I'm just going to forget the past. No, it made you into who you are. And I'm super grateful for all the shit that I went through
Yeah.
because it turned me into who I am today, with so much gratitude for those people that did bully me, because in my modality, in the miracle magnet method, Joey, those people that bullied me were actually my biggest, we call them AOEs, angels of evolution, right? So
I
these are the
love
people
that.
that, by pushing my buttons and hating me and shaming me and throwing me under the bus and making me a laughing stock, they forced me to leave an industry that I was never aligned with, big pharma, and to become who I truly am,
Right.
and to show others that it's never too late for them either to leave their present situation and move into their most beautiful future. Like, becoming a jazz artist at 51. Like, who freaking does that, right? Well,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
it if you're a miracle magnet, right? And so I want us all to have these tools so that we have the biggest advantage in life, and we can all shine bright in our purpose and live our miracle life, our dream life, our best life. So
Yeah.
our stories are critical. So does that answer my
Yeah,
perspective on
it
that
totally
question?
does. And like, hi Shannon, nice to see you on the Instagrams. And she asked, and she actually wants to input here. It says, and it puts us exactly where we need to be right now, by exactly what you were just talking about. So thanks for that, Shannon. Um, Yeah, and you're
Thanks,
right
Janet.
because you're that's what I mean by your 20 years, award winning in pharma, and then you had like spiritual awakenings. Like you talk about this all the time, and that's what I mean by that fuels everything that you do. You're not
Yeah.
hiding that behind anything. So I'm glad that
Yeah.
we
It's my
we agree
why,
on that.
right? It's my why. And when I think about a world, Joey, where everybody is loving their vibe, that, recently I got trademarked, everybody's loving their vibe. They're living in a higher vibration where they love themselves, where they love everyone else because we're all one, we're all connected, right? And there's no competition and comparison. There's only collaboration and co-creation. And we're living in this space of honoring each and every one of us, as divine beings here for a purpose that's bigger than us, right? And we really embody these principles and we become everything we were brought here to be. Like imagine a world full of us, right? Could that not be heaven on earth?
Hmm.
Yeah. And if I think about that world for a little bit, Joey, I start crying. And then don't get me started. I start crying. And they say, if your why doesn't make you cry, find another why.
Yeah,
So I encourage every one of us to do the thing that's in us that is going to make the world a better place. That if you think about your mission accomplished, does it make you want to cry? And if so, that's your thing. Because they say, if your why doesn't make you cry, find another why. I've
I
heard
got
that.
you. I've got you. Well, okay,
Yeah.
so let me ask you this. So the positioning, I'm going to go back to positioning again because like the whys and all these things are very very important. That's like the first where we started, which is if your map and is not correct and your internal and all that is not aligned, then the positioning and all that kind of stuff could get way out of whack. And the best positioning in my mind is one question: who is this not for? That's the question
Ah,
that I always ask.
yes,
Who is this not
yes,
for? And
yeah,
a lot of people have trouble with this question
yeah.
because I
I
mean,
don't. I don't.
okay,
I don't
who's your
talk
stuff
about it
not
very
for?
much, but I no, I kind of do. I kind of do. Like for me, it's like heart-centered people are my people. Who my program is not for is for assholes that don't want to look at themselves,
I love it.
right?
That's the positioning right there.
Yeah.
Okay, I get
Yeah.
quoted on this all the time, and I don't think I made this up. I must have read it somewhere, because most of the stuff I talk about is like from the hundreds and thousands of books that I've read,
Yeah,
and
yeah, same.
so,
Same.
but this one I always get quoted on, and every time I say it, I do Kajabi like every month, and every time I say it, everybody like, holy crap, I've never heard that before. And it's very simple. That marketing is not about attracting. It is about repelling. Let me say that
Oh,
again.
wow. I've
Marketing
never
is
heard that
not,
before.
yeah, see, right? Think about it.
Yes.
Marketing is
I got
not
to write
about
that
attracting.
down.
That's usually the response I get. Um,
Yeah.
Marketing is not about attracting, it is about repelling. And what I mean by that is repelling 80% of the market. So that it ties into that question, who is this not
Yeah.
for? So when
Yeah.
you market or position, your positioning is like, does this repel 80% of the market? What I'm saying,
Yes.
does it repel and move
Yeah.
80% of the market away from me so that the 20% can see me and find me? And once you
Mm.
understand that and adopt everything that you do, it's so much easier to find or have the dream clients find you because you're only speaking to that 20% market. It's like the dog whistle, right? If you go down to a New
Yes.
York subway station and yell out and say, "I can help you grow your business," that doesn't mean anything. Like it does, it's like, okay, everybody kind of wants to grow their business. But
Yeah.
if you blow a dog whistle, only the dogs hear it. And that's what repelling is all about. I can help you
Mm.
grow your foot massage business, like whatever, right? Like only foot massage people are going to turn around and say, "Okay, tell me how." So it's
Yeah.
not for anybody else. It's not for businesses. It's not for entrepreneurs. It's not for whatever. It's only for people who have foot massage businesses. Does that make sense? That's
Right. Yeah.
kind of what
Yeah.
positioning is all about.
I
What
love
do you
that.
think?
I love that. Yeah, that makes total sense. And actually I talk about that whenever I say, hey, listen, like I do have this modality, I have this method, and it's not for everybody. But if it's for you, it will truly transform your life.
How do you
So
know how do you tell them it's for them?
yeah. So I can tell, like, I smell my ideal client, my divine client, like 10 paces away. I can smell them. I just
Right.
know who they are. They have a certain way of being, they have a certain way of speaking, they have a certain stories that are in them, right? And they've all been through dark times. They've all felt like victims at some point, that they were treated bad, whether they were bullied, whether they had depression, anxiety, panic attacks, they were traumatized. Like I had every type of trauma as a kid. I can relate. No judgment, just compassion for all of them. And they're all people that know that they're here for more. They're here to feel better. They're here to serve the world, with their story. A lot of them realize that their story, when they've done some of this inner work, they realize their story happened for them, not to them, because they were meant
Yeah.
to help others.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so these are my people, right? And they're people that are so kind, sensitive, artistic, creative, mostly neurodivergent, and so I see them and I say, you're my people, right? And sometimes I'll if I start talking with one of them and they're brand new, I'll say, you know what, you don't realize this, but I realize it. Like, you're my people, whether you like it or not, right? And they kind of smile, and we usually end up having great relationships, and so yeah, so I've got a whole Rolodex of people that are my people that haven't done business with me yet necessarily, but they follow me and we're
Right.
friends.
Right.
And,
Right.
hopefully eventually, they'll see, okay, I can see now why this is a good time to jump
Right.
in,
Right.
so yeah,
That's one of the things that I talk about as well, which is curating the tribe, which is understanding who that tribe is. And so they're in your world, not necessarily where, you're bringing them into some like an email list or a Facebook group or whatever it is and go, "Hey, okay, now I'm going to sell them," right? It's not about that. It's about gathering the tribe so you have conversations or they watch videos like this over and over and over again. And then the third pillar of one of my heart-centered marketing system is respect their timeline. And that's where
yeah,
it's like whenever they're ready
yes,
to buy, whenever they decide to become a client,
yes,
they decide. Not because you had a
that's it,
sale or you had a discount or whatever. It's I'm ready now because I've watched you for 10 years. I've watched you
yes,
for 10 minutes or whatever. I'm ready now to become a client, right? So
yeah,
and that's
yeah,
a hard one. Like it's very hard for people to understand that one
it
because we're
is,
so
it
taught
is.
and you might know this because you came from sales. It was about I'm going in there to get the sale, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
not how I approach marketing. That's
Very
yeah,
masculine.
it's not how I
Whereas
approach it.
you're more the feminine approach, with all due
Yes.
respect, right? Because you're
100%.
very
I'll take it.
connected to your feminine, which is great, right? And actually I got that from you, Joey. I remember watching some of your content like a few years ago where you said that. You said people will buy on their timelines, not yours. And I remember hearing that and it landed in my body and I was like, he's damn right, So I am not going to, cajole or push anybody into doing this work because
Right.
it's their timeline, not mine. People need to get to that point where, in my work, we say that IBTT moment, which stands for I'm better than this, right? I'm better than this struggle. I
Yeah,
deserve
yeah,
better.
yeah.
So I'm going to now get the support that I need, right? And so when people hit that I'm better than this moment, it's like I'm sick and tired of feeling sick and tired. I need to feel better. And then they'll reach out for whatever solution, SOUL, that resonates most with them. And usually it's the content creators that they've been following and it's been at arm distance, but when they need it, when they're ready, it's like, yeah, I need Joey. I need Elvira, right? So
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
I totally believe that, and the hardest part for us, I don't know, well, I'll speak for myself, and from the clients that I've worked with over the years, is like the hardest part is showing up every day, and you're
yeah,
not seeing that bank account rise that day. You're like, "What am I
yeah,
doing this for?" Or weeks at a time or months, and you're like,
yeah,
what am I doing this
yeah.
for?"
Been there,
Right?
been there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so, that whole serve to sell is my second pillar. I may as well finish the pillars,
Mm,
right? Serve to sell, which is like you know that you're eventually going to sell something, but you're serving at all time. And
yes.
that translate into selling without having to sell. That's what I've
Yes.
discovered
Yes.
is as long as I'm there to serve, everybody knows that we want to make money, we want to build business, and we want to
Yeah.
sell something to someone sometime. And if they're ready on their timeline, yes, I'll sell it to you if you're ready for that. but it's not where, we show up to sell, we show up
That's it.
to serve. And
Serve. Yeah.
because of the serving, selling automatically happens.
Is
That's how
inevitable.
I've just,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. For
to
sure.
to
For sure.
whoever
I
it
love
is,
that.
right?
Say that
All
again.
right. I said to whoever it is, like we don't know. Like this is the
Yeah.
hard part that when I try to tell someone how they got into my world or what's going to happen with their dream clients because their dream clients are not really messaging them and they're not really in
Yeah.
conversation a lot.
No.
They're just watching from the sidelines. I go, that person, you don't know that invisible client. And
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
moment
And
you step off the platform or whatever, that invisible client goes somewhere else because you've disappointed them, you know?
yeah.
So we have
Yeah.
to show up knowing that there
We got to
is
show
that.
up. We got to show up
Yeah.
authentically. We got to tell our stories. We got to tell our truth. We got to show them, that you can relate to them, that
Yeah.
you've been helped by something, and you can use it to help them. And I remember one of my dear mentors, Lee Fowler. I love her. She said to me, she said to lots of people, not just me, but she would say, "Love your lurkers." Because the
Yeah.
lurkers are the people that watch you for a while. Like, you wouldn't believe how many
See?
people hire me and they say, I should have hired you years ago. And I'm like, why didn't you? Right. But they had to be ready. And so they were lurking for the longest time. And then they end up working with me and they get the results
Yeah.
but you can lead a horse to water. You can't make him drink. Right. So
Yeah, it's funny because most of the clients that I get, one of the questions when they finally start working or invest, I'm like, who are you? Like, because
yeah,
I don't know who they are. They're not in my world. It's all of a sudden I get a DM or an email says, "Hey, tell me more about this," or "Tell me more." I'm like, who are you? Right? So, all right, and it's a good thing, but it proves my point. This is what I figured
yeah,
out is like this person has been watching me on the sidelines for a long
yeah,
time, or
yeah,
maybe they're on my email list and they're opening emails and not really engaging, and all of a sudden it's
yeah.
like, "Hey, I want to work with you." So, um,
Hmm.
let's continue with the last one here, and then we'll close it up for tonight, which
Sure.
is this one. I'm going to ask you how you position yourself across coaching and speaking. So the collective without diluting because I know you're the legacy whisperer, right?
Yes.
How do
Yes.
you position without diluting that legacy whisperer brand?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the legacy whisper is just something that I was inspired to use as of like the last couple of months, to be honest, because I have this amazing team of people that are coaches that are serving high level people on the high seas. So we're bringing together these very like people that are professionals, doctors, lawyers, dentists, engineers, people that there's a term, it's called professional by force. A lot of these people have gone into these professions because that's what was expected of them from their families, right? So they became doctors because they were told to be a doctor. They became
Oh
a
yeah, yeah,
lawyer because they were told to be a lawyer. So a lot of these people are working these like, very high level, highfalutin, careers, but deep down they're not happy. They're not fulfilled. They know there's more in store and it might be burning a hole in their soul. So we want to take these people on these incredible luxury cruises and we want to serve them with this amazing team of coaches. And I'm the legacy whisperer. I'm the one that leads them all. So I just started using this title because I really like it because I do believe I have the gift. It's one of my genius zones of going into somebody's heart and soul and pulling out their legacy. How will they leave the world a better place?
mm,
And so I've started doing that, and I'm not sure how many people know about that, but I've started using it because it feels right for me. But I'm also the chief miracle magnet, the first person served by my method, and I now have a team of growing beautiful team of facilitators of it, and so quite honestly, like I don't think too much about positioning. I just show up and shine and share, and the right people are going to find me, and maybe that's naive, but that's how I'm doing it
yeah.
right now.
It's not really naive. It is like I'm not a huge fan of having everything tactical. Like this is how it's got to be in order for this to happen. But at the same time, coming from 40 years of marketing, I'm also okay. There's got to be some kind of logic or I don't know framework or something to this so
Yeah.
that I'm doing the right thing here. But leaving it very wide open and adaptable. So I'm very adaptable to certain things. That's why I don't like using templates and all these other kind of things. I just don't want to be that sheep, like just following the same herd. So, but I
Yeah.
understand, okay, well, I need to know what position am I taking? And
Yeah.
so I've done a positioning reset with a lot of people.
Cool.
Not well, certainly not a lot of people, a few people, and I've asked them, I don't know, I don't know how many questions there are, 5 or 6. Um, and it's a difficult conversation to have, or a difficult thing to do, because again, it's if I think one of the questions would be, or like a template, or that you'd have to figure out, fill out, would be, um, I I am the only person, or I'm the only business that blank.
Right.
Uh, yeah, that's basically it. So if could you, and I'm not asking you to do this, and anybody else watching this, hey, Collie, good to see you. There's a whole bunch of people here
Hi,
on the Instagram that
Collie.
want to say hi. The Collie, it's Fabian. Is it Fabiana or Fabian? I sure if I messed that up. Kath is here. Amazing. Shannon, hopefully she's still here. So we got a whole bunch of watchers there.
Oh,
So
great
just
people.
welcoming them. Where was I?
Yeah,
Um,
you were talking about the filling out a form,
oh yeah, yeah.
what are you the best in the world at? Yeah.
Yeah, I am the only business, or I am the only
Yes.
coach. I am the only thing that, right?
Yes.
Can you answer that? Right? And I'm
Yeah.
not asking you to to think about this,
And
but
I could
as
in a
maybe,
second. I could totally answer
okay,
that. I
great.
know what I'm
Okay,
the
go.
best in the world at. Yeah.
Okay, go. What is it? I am
Yeah,
the
so I'm
only.
the best in the world at helping people to transform from ego to essence, from their inauthentic crap magnet selves into their aligned, authentic, fully self expressed miracle magnet selves so they can make the difference they were brought here to make.
So then the question is, can you take that, and can you put someone else's name on it?
Could I
Right?
take that and put someone else's name? No,
Yes.
nobody else can do that
Okay.
but me.
Then you're the only one who can do that.
I am.
Right? So
I am.
that's what I'm talking about. So like if you said, because I would challenge you on, if you said, I am the only coach or whatever that can help people transform their lives to do what they were meant to do, or something like that.
Yeah.
I
No.
would challenge you on it, because
Yes, of course you
anybody
would.
could say that, right? Anybody could say
Yeah.
that. And this is and again, I'm just saying this out loud for everybody to look at what they do when they talk about what it is they do, or how they transform people, or how they change people. Can
Yeah.
you rip out your name and your logo and all these things, and can that be put on someone else's website and it'll still be the same? And that's where the hard part is, right? So
Right.
that's what positioning is all about, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I
Coca-Cola
love
has their
that.
positioning, Pepsi has their positioning, Nike has their positioning. You can't
Yeah.
take that away from them. They're the only shoe or whatever. I can't. I should have had an example of this
Yeah.
before I blurted this out. But that's one of the questions they challenge people to go through,
Yeah.
and you can see at the
That's
end of
that's a
it,
great
like,
question. That's an
yeah,
amazing question. How do Coke and Pepsi differentiate themselves? I know Pepsi is for a younger generation and Coke is kind of like the classic feel good. Is that kind of the positioning, Joey? How would you say it?
well, I'm going to date myself, but right away when you say what's the positioning, Pepsi is the Uncola.
Oh, the Uncola. Is that right?
Yeah. And you're right. The
Wow.
position, in terms of their marketing, it is younger generation, but they're the Uncola. Like when they first
Oh,
started saying, like, we are not Coke, a cola, we are the Uncola, right?
got
So
it.
they're positioning differently. There's like, that's not what we are. And if you even look at like Sprite,
Yeah.
and you look at that positioning, if you go back and read this, I think it's all in the positioning book. It's a fantastic book to read, and they give you all these
Yeah. I'm
examples.
going to read it. Yeah.
But
You
yeah,
said it was
that's
Al Trout?
it's Al Rees, Ries, and Jack
Ries.
Trout.
Okay. John
Jack
Trout.
Trout.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
I had
positioning.
the two. Okay. Okay, great. I'm
Yeah.
going to read that. That's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so great.
Amazing.
Um, anything that you wanna say before we head off for today?
No, no, just thank you so much for inviting me back again and again. It's a joy to hang out with you and
Me too.
share my perspective on your powerful questions and get to connect to your community. In fact, Collie, if she's still here, I'm going to be interviewing her on a global podcast that I'm now the host of. It's
No
out of
way.
India, New Delhi, and Collie is joining me. I think this week. I think this. yeah, this week sometime. And yeah, it's going to be live. So please look out for that, Joey, and watch us.
Wow.
And
Wow.
yeah, you connected us through this show. So I'm really super grateful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for being my friend and for
Yeah,
inviting
you're
me. Yeah.
welcome. You're welcome. Shannon is saying this was great. Thank you for hanging out with us, Shannon.
Oh,
It's great. You know, Shannon, I'd like to get you onto the show too because Shannon and I go way back. She's actually she's a great dear friend, and
oh,
she
nice.
helped me buy basically all my real estate when I got into real estate, and
Mm.
so yeah, she's not this just this realtor. Like she's definitely very deep
Wow. What makes her
and
different? What's her positioning?
I'd have to ask her. So
Okay.
maybe we'll get her on. And
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I'd
because
love to hear. I'd love to hear. That's
so Shannon, yeah,
awesome.
reach out and then let's get you on the show and talk about all kinds of different stuff, not just real
Yeah,
estate, maybe
yeah, and
not
I'd
even
love
real
to
estate,
bring
just
you
about
on to the global speakers talks for podcast as well. And the lady that's the founder out of India, her name is Anshu Tiwari. Shout out to her. She's actually doing a conference in December. So if you want to get onto her stage, she's going to bring on 80 speakers from around the world.
wow.
And
Where?
if you'd love to be in that mix, let me know and I can connect you with her.
Where is that gonna happen?
It's going to be all online. So
Oh, wow. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Um, I'm definitely
yeah.
down
Just
for
hit me up in
anything
the
like that.
DMs and I'll connect you guys. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate you.
awesome.
Appreciate everyone watching on
Yes,
the replay. So I forgot to ask you if you're watching on the live, which is a hashtag live. But at this point, if you're watching on the replay, give us a hashtag replay. And
for
we will see
sure.
you next week for another heart-centered marketing show. Thank you, Elvira. Amazing to
Awesome.
have you.
Thank you,
And we'll
Joey.
see you next month, right? That's
Yeah,
the way
we'll
it
see you
goes.
next month.
Very, very cool.
Mwah.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.